या देवी स्तूयते नित्यं विबुधैर्वेदपारगैः सा मे वसतु जिह्वाग्रे ब्रह्मरूपा सरस्वती। नमामि नारायणपादपङ्कजं करोमि नारायणपूजनं सदा वदामि नारायणनामनिर्मलं स्मरामि नारायणतत्त्वमव्ययम्। अपार करुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानतं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरेन्द्रगुरुं नमामि मुदान्भवम्। ध्यानमूलं गुरोर्मूर्तिः पूजामूलं गुरोः पदं मन्त्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरोः कृपा। Invoking the grace of Vagdevi, Goddess Saraswati, Guru Ayappan, Mahaperiva and Guru Parampara. We are now entering into verse number 7 of Dasadam number 21. Verse 7. Kinchottareshu kurushu priyaya dharanya samsevito mahita mantra nuti prabhedaihi दंष्ट्राग्र गृष्ट घन पृष्ठ गरिष्ठ वर्ष्मा त्वं पाहि विज्ञनुत यज्ञवराह मूर्ते। किंचोत्तरेषु कुरुषु प्रियया धरण्या संसेवितो महितमन्त्र नुति प्रभेदैः दंष्ट्राग्र गृष्ट घन पृष्ठ गरिष्ठ वर्ष्मा त्वं पाहि विज्ञनुत यज्ञवराह मूर्ते. Anvaya is like this. Kimcha uttareshu kurushu priyaya dharanya mahita mantra nuti prabhedaihi samsevitaha damstragra grishta ghana prishta garishta varshma tvam हे विज्ञनुत यज्ञ वराह मूर्ते पाहि means मां पाहि. Meaning kimcha further uttareshu to the north of Hiranyaya. Hiranyaya is implied here. Kurushu in the region known as Kuru. Uttara Kurushu means to the north of Hiranyaya, Kuru. Priyaya dharanya, by thy concert Mahita mantra nuti prabhedaihi by various great mantras. Nutihi means the hymns of praise are called nutihi. Prabhedaihi means various great mahita mantra, great mantras. So by various great mantras and hymns of praise, stuti. Samsevitaha, well worshipped. Damstragra grishta gana prishta garishta varshma. Vyutpati will be damstrayaha agrena grishtaha ganaha yena tatcha prishtam yasya tatcha garishtam cha varshma yasya tadrishaha. Grishtaha means touched or rubbed and garishtam means huge. So it says damstrayaha by the tusk which is mahata, big one. So with a body so huge that the tusk touched or rubbed the clouds. Garishta means huge body, it is talked about. Thou, tvam thou, he Vijñanuta Yajna Varahamurte, Varahamurte, O Yajna Varahamurte, who are adored by Vijñanuta, by the enlightened ones. Pahi, protect. Mam Pahi, protect me. The meaning is, O Yajna Varaha, who are adored by jnanis, they are the wise persons, thou whose body is so huge that the tusks touch the clouds, the back of the clouds. That's what it says. Prishta garishta varshma, ghana prishta. So the back of the clouds, that's what it means. Or the tusks touch the clouds, who are worshipped by thy dear consort, Mother Earth, by various great mantras and hymns in the region known as Uttara Kuru, to the north of Hiranyaya, thou protect me, or thou protect all devotees. So here it is mentioned about the region called Kuru. The Kuru is to the north of Hiranyaya and worshipped by Mother Earth. Lord here is the Yajna Varahamurti, the boar, the Yajna, and is worshipped by whom? The jnanis, the wise person. Its description is given here as Megapishtaha. On the backside of the cloud, it's mentioned here. His body is so huge, he pervades the entire Akasha or the space. And Lord is depicted here as the Paramatma Tattva, absolute reality, pervading the entire Prapancha and invoked by Jnanis and worshipped by Bhuma Devi, who is dear to the Lord, because Bhuma Devi is the wife of the Lord himself. So who is dear to the Lord and contemplated by her. And the sacred mantras are chanted. Mantras and hymns are talked about here. Mantras and hymns are the songs of praise. So that is being talked about. Nustutihi and Mantranuti Prabedaihi. The Dhyana mantra is mentioned in Bhagavatam in Dashakam 5, chapter 18, verse 35, which I will read out and also go to the meaning of this. Om Namo Bhagavate Mantra Tatvalingaya Yajñakradave Mahadvara Avayavaya Mahapurushaya Namaha Karma Shuklaya Triyugaya Namaste. The literal meaning of the verse is, O Lord, Om Namo Bhagavate, unto you my namaskarams or prestations, obeisance, etc. What kind of Lord he is? Who is Mantra Tattva Lingaya, who is understood as the essence or reality of the different mantras, and who is Yajna Kratave, means who is worshipped through the Yajna rituals and offerings to the Lord, Agni Devata, who is worshipped as is known for the sacrifices, the rituals, and also who is also the component of the yajnas. Yajna Kratave means the Kratam is also the body. Angas are also mentioned here. And the components of yajna are part of his body. The various samagris or utensils used for yajna are part of the angas of the Yajna Varaha Murti. We have already seen that in Dashaka 13, Sloka 9. So that is being brought out here as Yajna Kratave. He is a Yajna Surupa himself. The Surupa of the, in short, as the Yajna rituals being performed. Then Mahadvara means Maha Avayaba, who has got a huge body. That body is being described here as one who has a huge body, a tusk, etc. We saw touching the cloud. Then next is mentioned as Karma Shuklaya, purifies all the karmas, purifies all our karmas, and himself pure. Karma Shukla. Shukla is white. White indicates a purity. Therefore, purification of all the karmas of all the devotees, sataks, and himself is pure. As also implied here. And Triyugaya means who is manifested in all the three yugas, who is manifesting in all three yugas. Three yugas are obviously Krita, Treta, and Dwapara. Mahapurusha means a great personality, and unto him our namaste, prostrations. This is the meaning of the verse. Here we offer in this verse 39, subsequent of this Bhagavata, the verse reference is also made to the slaying of Hiranyaksha by mentioning that you are assuming the form of Varaha or boar, emerging from the water of the Garbhodaka ocean, placing Bhumi Devi on your tusk, and after killing the formidable Daitya Hiranyaksha, who is the opponent in the fight. We already saw that also earlier in the Dashaka, in the Narayaniam also. We will now move on to the verse number 8 verse. Yam yam disham bhajadi kim purushakya varshe samsevito hanumata dhrida bhakti bhaja सीताभिराम परमाद्भुत रूपशाली रामात्मकः परिलसन् परिपाहि विष्णो यां यां दिशं भजति किं पुरुषाख्यवर्षे संसेवितो हनुमता दृढभक्तिभाजा सीताभिराम परमाद्भुत रूपशाली रामात्मकः परिलसन् परिपाहि विष्णो यां यां दिशं भजति किं पुरुषाख्यवर्षे दृढभक्तिभाजा हनुमता संसेवितः सीताभिराम परमाद्भुत रूपशाली रामात्मकः परिलसन् हे विष्णु परिपाहि। याम्यां दिशं भजति situated to the south of Ilavrita. Ilavrita is understood here. Kim Purushakhya Varshe, in the region known as Kim Purusha, Dhrida Bhakti Bhaja Hanumata, by Hanuman who has firm devotion to you, Samsevitaha, worshipped, Sidhabhi Rama Paramadbhuta Rupashali, with a form which captivates Sita Abhirama, and Parama Adbhuta means and most wonderful and resplendent. Sitayaha Vyutpati will be Sitayaha Abhiramena Paramadbhutena Rupena Shalate or Prakashate iti. Rupashali. Shalate means Prakashate. Ramatmakah Parilasan, shining as Rama, Vishnu, O Lord Vishnu, Paripahi, protect. O Lord Vishnu, who does shine as Rama with a form which captivates Sita and is most wonderful and resplendent, who are worshipped with firm devotion by Hanuman in the region known as Kim Purusha to the south of Ilavrita. May He protect us or all devotees. May He protect all devotees. That's the literal meaning. The region talked about here is called Kim Purusha. Kim Purusha is again the south of Ilavrita. You already saw earlier Harivarsha also, where Narasimha Murthy was presented. And here, this is also the south of Ilavrita. And Lord is here the Rama, who is the captivating Sita and who is also worshipped by the Hanuman, who has got a firm or unswerving devotion. Sita Bhirama Parama Adbhuta Rupa. Udaraha means a broad mind, who gives Ananda to Sita and who is the Paramatma Surupa. And Bhakti of Hanuman also is talked about here as unserving Bhakti, Nishkama Bhakti. Nishkama Bhakti means seeking only God's grace. Hanuman wanted only God, Rama, nothing else. So therefore this is worshipped by Hanuman who has got total dedication to the Lord, Nishkama, unswerving devotion to the God, seeking only God's grace. The person in Kim Purusha, the Adhipati of Kim Purusha, all worship Lord Rama with selfless devotion and total surrender to the Lord Rama. This is the meaning of this verse. And in this, it is mentioned here also, the eightfold glories are described in the mantra, which is coming in Bhagavatam, Dashakam 5, chapter 19, the verse number 3, which we'll take in the next session. Bhave bhave yatha bhaktihi padayostava jayate tata kurusha devesha natastvam no yata prabhu nama sankirtanam yasya sarva bhava pranasanam pranamo dukkha samanaha tam namami harim param. Narayana Akila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Ya Devi Stuyade Nityam Vibhudair Veda Paragaihi Same Vasatu Jighvagre Brahmarupa Saraswati. Namami Narayana Patabangajam Karomi Narayana Pujanam Sada Vadami Narayana Namadarbalam Smarami Narayana Tattvam Apara Karuna Sintim Jnanadam Shantarubinam Sri Chandrasekharendra Gurum Namami Buddhan Baham Dhyanamoolam Gurur Murtihi Pujamulam Gurur Padam Mantramulam Gurur Vakyam Mokshamulam Gurur Kripa. Invoking the grace of Vagdevi Saraswati, Goddess Saraswati, Guru Ayappan, Mahaperiva and Guru Paramara. We are continuing our discussion on Dasakam 21, verse number 8, which we completed last time with the meaning. I said we'll continue with the mantra, which is covered relating to that, taken from Bhagavatam. In that verse number 8 was mentioned that the Varsha mentioned was Kim Purusha Varsha, the region where Hanuman worshipped Lord Rama. Lord Rama is the worshipping deity. And Hanuman is mentioned as the Dhrida Bhakti Bhaja Hanuman, who has an unswerving devotion to the Lord. It may be noted here that in this Kim Purusha Varsha, Ashtishena, who is the Lord of all rishis, and as we would have seen in the Ramayana also, that Lord Rama was moving around with the rishis and giving happiness to them, which is depicted in Ramayana also. Rama himself was moving with the rishis and making their life always blissful, and they are Rama Bhaktas. Therefore, Hanuman also is residing in Kimpurusha, who is having unswerving total devotion to the Lord. And the word Rama itself means that one who gives happiness. Taken to the dhatu called Ramate, first Atmanipati, Ramate Yasminiti Ramaha, in whom one gets happiness. He is Rama. The causative form is Ramayati, or one who gives happiness. So such is the glory of the Lord Rama, and therefore there is mantra which is chanted by all these rishis, especially is depicted, is covered in Bhagavatam, Panjamaskanda, Adhyaya or chapter 19th, and verse number 3 or sloka number 3, which I will read now and then also go to the meaning of this. The mantra says, Om Namo Bhagavate Uttama Slokaya Nama Arya Lakshana Shila Vrataya Nama Upashikshitatmana Upasita Lokaya Namaha Sadhuvada Nikashanaya Namo Brahmanya Devaya Mahapurushaya Maharajaya Nama Iti. It's a very powerful mantra. Just briefly, we will go through the meaning of this. It says, my obeisance or namaskaras to you, who is Uttama Sloha, who is glorified for all the Uttama Guna, means unparalleled supreme qualities. In this connection, one would recollect the verses from Ramayana, where Valmiki asked Narada, who is the one who has got the 16-fold gunas qualities. The verse reads like Tapaswadaya Naradam Tapasvi Vagvidambaram Naradam Paripapracha Valmigir Munipungavam. And then the Narada says that Dharmajnascha Kritajnascha Satyavakyo Dridabhradaha. 16 qualities are being talked about. Kundaspin Sampradaloge Gunavan Kascha Viryavan. So he says Dharmajnascha Kritajnascha Satyavakyo Dridabhradaha Charitrenacha Ko Yuktaha Sarvabhuteshu Ko Hitaha Vidwan Kaha Kaha Samartascha Kaschaika Priyadarshanaha Atmavan Ko Jitakrodo Dutiman Ko Nasuyakaha Kasya Bibhyedi Devascha Jataroshasya Samyuke Etad Ichhamyakam Shrutum Param Kautuhalam Hime Maharshe Tvam Samartosi Jnatum Evam Vitam Naram. So Lord Valmiki asks, and Narada says, there is only one person who has got So there is only one person who has got all the 16 qualities, that is Rama. So that is being talked about here also. Uttama Shloka, one who is glorified for his Uttama Gana or unparalleled supreme qualities. Then it says Arya Lakshana Shila Bratha, virtues befitting the Arya clan or the ruler of the kingdom. Then Upasikshita Atmane Namaha, in the form of a teacher and advising the disciples. Upasikshita means teaching the disciple. Upasita Lokaya, one who is the ultimate form of worship. Sadhuvada Nikashanaya, or the touchstone, or the protector of the sadhus, pious persons. Brahma Swarupa represents the absolute reality or Brahman. Brahmanya Deva is called, Lord is called. Brahmanya Deva means he is the Lord of the Godhead of the Brahmins, or he is the absolute reality, also one can say like that. Mahapurusha, the great personality, and Maharaja, the king of all the kings. That's how this mantra goes. So this verse talks about the glory of Rama, and such a Lord is worshipped. The rishis worship with their total devotion and then gain the anugraha of the Lord. That's how this verse talks about. Now we will go on to the verse number 9. Verse number 9. Shri Naradena Saha Bharata Khanda Mukhyaihi Tvam Sankhya Yoga Nutibhi Samupasyamanaha Akalpa Kalamiha Sadhu Janabhirakshi Narayano Narasaka Paripahi Bhuman. Shri Naradena Saha Bharata Khanda Mukhyaihi Tvam Sankhya Yoga Nutibhi Samupasyamanaha आकल्पकालमिह साधुजनाभिरक्षी नारायणो नरसकः परिपाहि भूमन्. अन्वय. श्री नारदेन सह भारतखण्डमुख्यैः सांख्ययोगनुतिभिः समुपास्यमानः इह आकल्पकालं साधुजनाभिरक्षी नरसकः नारायणः त्वं हे भूमन् परिपाहि. Sri Naradena Saha, along with Sri Narada, Bharatkhanda Mukhyahi, by the foremost devotees in Bharatavarsha. Sankhya Yoga Nutibihi, with hymns based on Sankhya and Yoga systems, Samupasyamanaha, well meditated upon, Iha Akalpakalam, here, that means in Bharatavarsha, till Akalpakalam is, we can take it as Pralaya, till Pralaya. Sadhu Janabhirakshi, protecting the virtuous. Narasakaha Narayanaha Tvam, thou Narayana, who has Nara as companion, means Naranarayana. Hey woman, O infinite one, Paripahi, protect, Mam Paripahi, protect me. O infinite one, thou Narayana, with Nara as thy companion, who does reside in Bharatavarsha till Pralaya, for the protection of the virtuous and who are meditated upon by the foremost devotees in Bharatavarsha, along with Sri Narada, by means of hymns based on the Sankhya and Yoga system. Extend your grace to protect all devotees. That's how the meaning of this verse goes. Here it is talked about the Bharatavarsha, where in Sankalpa also we use the word Bharatavarsha, Jambu Dvipe Bharatavarsha. This is a Bharatavarsha. This name earlier was called Ajanabhavarsha, as we have seen earlier also when we were talking about the Jada Bharata Upakyana. And after Bharata, the name got changed to Bharatavarsha. Before it was called as the Ajanabhavarsha, named after the Nabi. So in Bharatavarsha, Nara and Narayana are the ones who is being worshipped by, and the devotees, the foremost devotees, it is mentioned here, that who are worshipping the Lord, is talked about here also, that they worship the Lord till Pralaya, and Naranarayana is for the protection of the virtuous. Now what is more important here is Narada becomes the Devarishi. Along with Devarishis and other Rishis, they are being worshipped. Naranarayana has been being worshipped, is being talked about here. Now, the mode of worship is talked about. The basis is based on the Sankhya and Yoga. It is mentioned elsewhere somewhere that the Lord Narayana has 2 earrings. One was taken by Kapila. The Sankhya and Yoga are said to be the 2 earrings of the Lord. One was taken by Kapila, that is a Sankhya, and the other by Adisesha, who was born as Patanjali, the author of the Yoga Sutras. It may be, as a side note, may important to note that the Sankhya, this is the Dvaita Darshanam given by Kapila Muni. We saw in the Kapila Upadesham in Dashaka 15 about the Sankhya Yoga. And in Sankhya and Yoga Darshanam is given by the Patanjali, and which runs parallel to Sankhya. In fact, in Sankhya, Ishvara as a concept was not brought out. It was only brought about the Purusha and the Prakriti. The uniting factor, the Ishvara, is brought about by the Patanjali in the Sankhya, in the Yoga. That's why the Yoga is also called as Seshvara Sankhya, means Sa Ishvara Sankhya. So the Sankhya and Yoga, they run parallel. And they are considered to be the Dvaita Darshana, the Ishvara aspect, where the Paramatma, Jagat, Jiva, etc. is mentioned about. So these rishis, they chant hymns based on the Sankhya and Yoga, which form an important basis for worship. And what is noted here also that the Prapancha, the universe, and Brahma reality are united and not separate from each other, is represented by the fact that Narayana is Nara. You already saw the glory of Naranarayana also in Dasaka 16. Narayana is worshipped by Devarishis. It is presented here that the Upasakas who can, with Sankhya Yoga, along with understanding of Tattva realizing, and with mental restraint and devotion, can only gain the Brahma Sakshatkara, or get connected to the absolute reality. Sankhya and Yoga are two paths here for self-realization. The glory of the Narayana we already saw in the Dasaga 16, that is being also to be kept in mind. The implications of the word Narayana was brought about when we related to Vishnu Sahasranama chanting at the time of Vishnu Sahasranama meanings we gave of Shankara Bhashyas earlier. That is to be kept in mind. The word Nara also has the meaning of water. Water also means the one who is resting in the water, or one who is all pervading. And Nara means water. Nara also means the Jagat. This also needs to be kept well. The mantra which is used is for glorifying the Lord is presented in Bhagavatam Panchamaskandam, chapter 19, verse number 11, which we will go through. It says, Om Namo Bhagavate Uttama Slokaya Nama Arya Lakshana Shila Vrataya Nama Upasikshitatmana Upasita Lokaya Namaha Sadhuvata Nikashanaya Namo Brahmanya Devaya Namo Brahmanya Devaya. I'm sorry, bring verse number 3. Verse number 11 is Om Namo Bhagavate Upashama Shilaya Uparathanatmyaya Namo Akinchana Vittaya Rishi Rishabhaya Nara Narayanaya Paramahamsa Paramagurave Atma Ramadhipataye Namo Nama Iti. The meaning of this verse is this is Panchamaskanda, chapter 19 and verse number 11. O Lord, our respected namaskars or obeisance to you, one who has control over the mind, upashama, then one who is separate and free from the worldly entanglements, bhautika, and has mental quietude or equipoise or continue to acquire. That's all uparati and atmyaya. Then akinchana vittaya means one who is the only refuge for a person who has voluntarily renounced all his wealth and has no desire whatsoever for material pursuits or accomplishments. Rishi Rishabhaya we can interpret as Lord of the Rishis, or exalted one of all the wise persons. Naranaranaya, one who is the Naranarayana. Then Paramahamsa Paramaguru, meaning the supreme teacher, that is the Guru of all Paramahamsa. Paramahamsas are the elevated souls or the self-realized jnanis. They are called Atma Rama Adipataye. Atma Rama Adipataye also means residing or shining in the hearts of those persons who are ever happy with oneself. In Gita, Lord Krishna says, Atmani eva Atmana tushtaha. Such people are happy in oneself by oneself. So unto that one who is therefore the Lord who is residing in the hearts of such Atma Ramas. Unto you again I shall offer my namaskarams. From this one can infer that Narayana is the Paramatma Swarupa, which is being brought about here, and the ultimate goal of all sadhaks or aspirants. And therefore a prayer is ordered by Bhattathari, O thou Lord, protect me also. Like that this verse number 9 concludes. We'll move into the verse number 10 in the next session. Bhave bhave yata bhaktihi padayostava jayate tata krusha devesha natastam no yata prabho nama sankirtam yasya sarvapapa prasanam pranamo dukkha samanaha tam namami harim param. Narayana akila guru bhagavan namaste. Ya devi stuyate nityam vibudhair vedaparagaihi same vasatu jighvagre brahmarupa saraswati. Namami Narayana Padabangajam, Karomi Narayana Pujanam Sada, Vadami Narayana Namadharmalam, Smarami Narayana Tattvamabhyayam. Apara Karuna Sintum, Jnanatam Shantarupinam, Sri Chandra Shekharendra Gurum, Namami Mudanvaham. Dhyanam Mulam Gurur Murtihi, Puja Mulam Gurur Padam, Mantra Mulam Gurur Vakyam, Moksha Mulam Gurur Kripa. Invoking the grace of Vagdevi Goddess Saraswati, Guru Ayappan, Mahaperiyava and Guru Parampara. We are now on verse number 21, Dasaga number 21, and entering into verse number 10. Plarcherka Rupamayi Shalmala Indurupam. द्वीपे भजन्ति कुशना मणिवन्निरूपम् क्रौञ्चे भूरूपमत वायुमयं च शाके त्वां ब्रह्मरूपमपि पुष्करनाम्नि लोकाः प्लाक्षेऽर्करूपमयि शाल्मल इन्दुरूपं द्वीपे भजन्ति कुशनामनिवह्निरूपं क्रौञ्चेऽम्बुरूपमथ वायुमयं च शाके त्वां ब्रह्मरूपमपि पुष्करनाम्नि लोकाः. अन्वय. अयि प्लाक्षे अर्करूपं शाल्मले इन्दुरूपं कुशनामनि द्वीपे वह्निरूपं क्रौञ्चे अम्बुरूपम् अत शाके वायुमयं च पुष्करनाम्नि ब्रह्मरूपम् अपि त्वां लोकाः भजन्ति. Ayi, O Lord, Plakshe Arkarupam, in the form of the sun in Plaksha, Shalmale Indurupam, in the form of the moon in Shalmala, Kushanamani Dvipe Vannirupam, in the form of fire in Kushadvipa, Kraunche Amburupam, as water in Krauncha, Ata Shake Vayumayamcha, and as wind in Shaka, Pushkara Namni Brahmarupam, as Brahma in Pushkara, Apitvam Lokaha Bhajanti, people worship thee. O Lord, people worship thee in the form of the sun in Plaksha, as the moon in Shalmala, as fire in Kushadvipa, as water in Krauncha, as wind in Shaka, and as Brahma in Pushkara. So, this is a 10th verse. In this Dasaka, the forms in which the same Lord is worshipped in the various regions were described in the first 9 stanzas. These 9 regions are all in Jambu Dvipa, which we covered up to verse number 10. Up to verse number 9. And in that Jambu Dvipa, we talked of 9 Varshas basically. To recapitulate, Bhadra Varsha in Ilavrita. Ilavrita is the first Varsha. Then Bhadra Varsha to the east of Ilavrita, Hari Varsha to the south of Ilavrita, Ketumala to the west of Ilavrita, Ramyaka to the north of Ilavrita, Hiranmaya to the north of Ramyaka, Purna to the north of Hiranmaya, then Kimpurusha to the south of Ilavrita, and Bharata Varsha. So these 9 Varshas were covered, which were in Jambu Dvipa up to verse number 9, and now we are entering to the verse number 10, where the remaining 6 Dvipas are covered in this verse. Each of these names, which we saw earlier, Plaksha, Shalmala, Kushadvipa, Krauncha, Shaka, it represents the trees, synonymous with tree. And as Jambu, Plaksha, Shalmala, Kusha, Krauncha, Shaka, and they are finally merging in Pushkara. Pushkara also is the name of the tree. We covered this when starting the thing. I would not like to repeat that. Similarly, it is mentioned here, the Aditya, the forms in their worship are Aditya, Chandra, Agni, fire, Ambu, water, Vayu, wind, in the respectively as for Shalmala, Jambu, Plaksha, Shalmala, Kusha, Krauncha, Shaka. And these are, as they are merging in Pushkara, here also all these forms also merge in the Brahman. Brahma is the word used. Brahma is synonymous with Brahman. We can take it that way. So in totality, all these Dvipas and their forms are seen to be symbolically the various facets of Brahman. And the Ekatva Bhavana of Brahman, one and not many, is established here by saying that all these, they finally, as the trees, they merge in Pushkara. All these forms also of the Lord, of the Devatas, also, and the 5-3 elements also merge in the Brahman. That part is talked about here. The Upasana mantras for each of these are covered in the Bhagavatam, which I would like to briefly go through. They are all covered in Panchama Skanda, chapter 20, and we'll go in these various verses. Verse number 5, which talked about the Plaksha Dvipa. Verse number 5, which I would like to read. Pratnasya Vishnu Rupam Yat Satya Sartasya Brahmanaha Amritasya cha Mrityoscha Surya Matmana Me Mahiti. Briefly, the meaning of this verse is: may the Lord's Son be victorious, who represents the form of Vishnu and also the essence of, or the Atma Swarupa of Brahman, eternal, and Prapancha universe, which is ephemeral or impermanent. Prapancha is the Mithya aspect and Brahman is the Satya aspect. So it is mentioned here as the Son as representing the Vishnu, who is the essence or Swarupa of Brahman and Prapancha. Both Satya and Mithya is covered here. So we meditate, we worship that Son, who is in the Plaksha Dvipa. Then we go to the Shalmala Dvipa, where the form of worship is Chandrama, moon, which is covered in verse number 12 of the same chapter, chapter 20. The Swashobhihi Pitrudevebhyo Vibhajan Krishna Shuklayoho Prajanam Sarvasam Rajantaha Somo Na Astviti. The meaning briefly is: may the moon distributes or dissipates its rays equally to Pitrus, mains or forefathers, and Devas. Devas also can be like Indra, etc., the demigods. And may this moon distribute the rays equally to them, and also be the source of light in Shukla Paksha, bright fortnight, and Krishna Paksha, the source of darkness in Krishna Paksha. So the moon is the one which gives light at night time, and also is there in the Krishna, both in the Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha, symbolizing light and darkness. So prayer to the moon to bless us. That is the Upasana mantra for Shalmala Dvipa, which is mentioned here. Then we come to the Kusha Dvipa, where the form of worship is fire, which is again contained in this 520, that's in the 20th chapter, 17th verse, which I will read out. Parasya Brahmanaha Sakshat Jadavedosi Abhyavat Devanam Purushanganam Yajnena Purusham Yajeti. It says, O Lord Fire, you are the one who personally carries the offering of ghee and grains. That is the Habya is talked about, and he is called Jata Vedasa, one who carries this offering. Okay, and representing the Parabrahman. Hence, we worship the Parabrahma, the Paramapurusha, Supreme Brahman, through offerings to Devas, the limbs of the Virat Purusha. So through offerings to Devas and the limbs of Virat Purusha. We saw it always in the Varaha Murti also, where the Lord was mentioned various limbs, combines the components of Yajna. That is being mentioned here. O Fair, we worship to you, we offer our worship to you, and enlighten us. That is a prayer, the Kushadvipa. The Krauncha Dipa, there the form of worship is water. That is covered in verse number 23. Apav Purusha Viryaha Sta Punantir Bhurbhuvassuvaha Tanaf Punita Mivagnihi Prishatam Atmana Bhuva Iti. Here it says, O water, O might of the original personality, you sanctify the three worlds, which are Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, and Suvaha. Those waters purify us. May our offering of water, destroy the spirit of evil, purify our bodies and the world through Atma or the Supreme Lord Vishnu. That's the meaning of the taken here. Atmatmana Bhuvaiti. That means purify and protect the world through the Supreme Brahman or Supreme God Principle or Lord Vishnu. That is the meaning here. It is mentioned that those who are having respiratory problems, they get cured by chanting this mantra or sloka. The mantra is contained in Panjamaskanda, 5th Skanda, 20th chapter, verse number or sloka number 23. Please make a note. Those they can chant it minimum 3 times. It is very good for all. It cures all the respiratory related problems. Then we come to the Shaka Dvipa, where the Devata is wind. That is covered in verse number 28. It says here, what it's about respiratory is coming in the verse number 28, not in 23. Okay. So in this verse 28, if you chant, this cures the person of all the respiratory related problems. This verse I will repeat here. Anta prabhishya bhutani yo bibartyatma ketubhi antaryamishvara sakshat patuno yadvashe sputam. This verse is a very important verse, powerful verse. It says, Ketu means the movements are talked about. O wind, you entering in all living beings, you are the Antaryami, the super soul within, or the Ishvara within, the direct controller, or who maintains and control the entire cosmos through the Pancha Prana, Prana, Vyana, Apana, Udana, Samana, Brahmana that they talk about here, who are the life breath, and may you protect us. This verse is the one, if you chant it, it cures one of all respiratory problems. Verse number 5, 20, 28. Not the early one, this verse number 28 is to be chanted. And the last we come to the Pushkara Deepa, where the Devata is Brahma or Brahman. That is covered in verse number 33. Yat karma bayam lingam brahmalingam janorchayet ekantamadvayam shantam tasmai bhagavate nama iti. This meaning of this, O the Brahman, we offer our obeisance to you or pranams to you, who is worshipped by people in the form of Brahma or Brahmalinga. And the nature of Brahmalinga is, it is ekantam, means absolute. Ekantam means absolute. Advayam, one without a second or non-dual. And Shantam, peace. In fact, Ekantam, Advayam and Shantam is the nature of the Nirguna Brahman that is talked about. So invoked in that form of Brahma or Brahmalinga. Because Linga is both Rupa and Arupa. Both are covered here. That's why the Linga aspect is talked about here. That we worship you and you protect us. Our obeisance to you. The Pushkara Deepa. So all the other Deepa are ultimately merged into the Pushkara Deepa. The various Devatas and the elements ultimately move into the Pushkara Dvipa. That is what is talked about. This completes the remaining 6 Dvipas. We will move on to the verse number 11 in the next session. Bhave bhave yata bhaktihi padayostava jayate tada kurushva devesha natastvam no yata prabhu nama sankirtanam yasya sarva baba pranasanam pranamo dukkha samanaha tam namami harim param narayana akila guru bhagavan namaste. या देवी स्तूयते नित्यं विभुतैर्वेदपारगैः सामे वसतु जिह्वाग्रे ब्रह्मरूपा सरस्वती. नमामि नारायण पादपङ्कजं करोमि नारायण पूजनं सदा वदामि नारायण नामधर्मलं स्मरामि नारायण तत्त्वमव्ययम्. अपार करुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानतं शान्तमूर्तिनं श्री चन्द्रशेखरेन्द्र गुरुं नमामि मुदान्वहम्. Invoking the grace of Vagdevi Goddess Saraswati, Guruvayurappan, Mahapariva and Guru Parampara, we are now entering into verse number 11 of Dashakam 21. Sarvai Druvadibi Rud Prakareir Grahaischa पुच्छादिकेष्वभयवेष्वभिकल्प्यमानैः त्वं सिंशुमारवपुषा महताम् उपास्यः सन्ध्यासु रुन्धि नरकं मम सिन्धुशायिन् सर्वैर्ध्रुवादिभिरुट्प्रकरैर्ग्रहैश्च पुच्छादिकेष्वभयवेष्वभिकल्प्यमानैः त्वं सिंशुमारवपुषा महताम् उपास्यः सन्ध्यासु रुन्धि नरकं मम सिन्धुसायिन्. अन्वय पुच्छादिकेषु अवयवेषु अभिकल्प्यमानैः ध्रुवादिभिः सर्वैः उडुप्रकरैः ग्रहैः च सन्ध्यासु सिंशुमारवपुषा महताम् उपास्यः हे सिन्धुसायिन् त्वं मम नरक रुन्धि. अन्वय पुच्छादिकेषु अवयवेषु अभिकल्प्यमानैः ध्रुवादिभिः सर्वैः उडुप्रकरैः ग्रहैः च सन्ध्यासु सिंशुमारवपुषा महताम् उपास्यः हे सिन्धुसायिन् त्वं मम नरकं रुन्धि. Puchadikeshu abayaveshu, in the limbs such as the tail, etc. Abhikalpyamanaihi, imagined. Druvadibihi sarvaihi uduprakaraihi. Prakare means groups. Udu means stars. So Dhruva stars. So by all the groups of stars such as Dhruva, etc. Dhruva adibihi, etc. Grahaicha, and by the planets. Sandhyasu, at the three Sandhyas. Simshumara Vapusha, in the form of the great fish Simshumara. Mahatam Upasyaha, to be meditated upon by the enlightened. He Sindhusayin, O thou who does repose in the milk ocean or reclining on the milk ocean. Sindhusayin. Tam mama narakam ruddhi, eradicate my suffering, which is like being in a hell, or my sins which may send me to hell, prevent me from going to hell. That way also meaning can be taken. O Lord, reposing on the or reclining on the milk ocean, thou who should be meditated upon by the enlightened, in the form of the great fish Simshumara, at three Sandhyas, morning, noon and evening, with all the stars such as the Dhruva, pole star, etc., and all the planets imagined as forming the limbs, deign to eradicate my sufferings and my sins. Here the Lord is addressed as the Sindhusagara, means one who is reclining on the milk ocean. Sindhusayin. Symbolically it can be seen as the ocean represents the limitlessness, and milk is representing the Sheshasha, milk represents the Sattva aspect, the knowledge aspect. So the Lord as a Nirguna Swarupa, as the knowledge, Ajnanam Ananta, we can see. So the Lord reclining on that means that Lord's Swarupa is Parabrahman, that way it can be seen. Or as a Sattva Guna also we can say Lord as the all knowledge Sarvajnaha, and also the Lord who is Sarva Vyapi, who is Sarvam Viveshti, so he is everywhere. So that is why he is called Vishnu. So you can see him as a Saguna as well as Nirguna aspect can be seen in this word Sindhusayin. And here the Lord, the form to be meditated is talked about as the Simshumara. The word Simshumara has been interpreted differently also. It is also interpreted as the form of the snake, in the form of the snake, which with head down and tail up. Simshumara also means also the crocodile or the sea elephant also. The water monkeys are also called Simshumaras. So all these forms resemble the either the fish or the crocodile, but it has a snake-like form with the head inverted down. That's it can be seen as it. In Bhagavata, the word used is as Shishumara also. Shishumara means, Shishu means a child. Mara means Marayati, means Kamadeva is called Mara because he attracted the Lord Shiva by his look. Therefore, Shishum Marayati, that child form which captivates the great sages all because of its form. Therefore, Shishu Maraha iti Simshu Maraha. Shishu Marayati iti Simshu Maraha. You can give that kind of interpretation also. Both are okay. And here the form is considered as the Simsumara is likened to the form with all the stars such as Dhruva and also all the planets which are imagined as forming the limbs of this, which gives a look of that the stars, the planets, Devatas, etc. and the planets are all the Angas of the Bhagavan. That's how it is being portrayed here. It should be understood here also, it is a imagined form, it's a meditated upon form. It's called Sankalpa Swarupa. The Sankalpa is done by the great rishis or the jnanis who contemplated on this form and saw the Lord as the Simsumara. The time also is mentioned here as the Sandhya time, which is the three Sandhya, Pradha Sandhya, Madhyanam and Sayam Sandhya, that is dawn, noon and dusk, which is the appropriate time for doing upasana because that is a changing time zone. So that's how it is being described. And the Bhattatari part says that like you eradicate these rishis from their sins, you also eradicate my sufferings and sins. And it is mentioned here that Natvam Mama Narakam Runti means relieve me from the health, or the Narakam itself can be called as the suffering itself, or remove my sins, which may send me to hell, therefore eradicate my sins. In Bhagavatam, it is also in the yogis also it can be interpreted as the Lord in the Chidakasha in the form of Kundalini Shakti, who is meditated or worshipped upon by the yogis. And the Sandhya time of course represents the changing time zones. In Bhagavata also elaborate description is given of this form in Panchama Skanda, 5th Skanda, chapter 23rd, and from verses 4 to 9. We'll quickly go through that because it is very interesting to see. It is very, very informative to note this because the Lord is picturized with the stars and planets as his Anga and Devatas also. So it is mentioned here in verse 4. Some imagine that this great army of luminaries to be Simsumara, a dolphin or a fish, and are described by yogic power or concentration as the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. In verse number 5, details are given like, with its tail pointing out at the end of the row of fixed stars in the sky, that is Dhruva, and with its head bent downwards, it has its body coiled. The planets of Prajapati, Agni, Indra and Dharma are found on tail with Dhata and Vidhata at its base. The 7 stages are located on its hips with its body coiling to the right. There are as its separate body parts at its northern side the constellations of 14 stars, that is from Abhijit to Punarvasu, and to the south there are equal number of them from Pushya to Uttarashada. These are all the stars. Together, both sides resembled the coiled body of a fish or a dolphin or a snake. On its back, one sees the stars called Ataviti, that's the meaning of the heavenly course of the sun, the moon and the planets through the Mula, Purvashada and Uttarashada stars. And on the belly, one sees the Akasha Ganga or celestial Ganges. The series of stars along the full body of Shishumara are the Milky Way as discovered by the current scientists. In verse number 6 it is mentioned, Punarvasu and Pushya constitute the loins right and left. Ardra and Aslesha, these are all stars' names. Also the right and left are his flippers. Abhijit and Uttarashada are the left and right nostrils. Shravana or Purvashada, left and right eyes. Dhanishta can be seen as Sravishta here also. And Mula are the right and left ear. And the 8 stars such as Magha as the left ribs, while the same number of stars like Mrigashirsha are on the right ribs. Satabhisha and Jeshta constitute the left and right shoulder. In verse number 7, it is mentioned on its upper chin is Agasti or Agastya, and lower one is Yamaraja. At its mouth there is Angaraka, at its mouth there is Angaraka, genital is Saturn, Jupiter, that is Brihaspati, at the base of the neck, and the sun Aditya at the chest. And in its heart, Lord Narayana is seated, while the moon represents its mind. At the navel, Venus Ushana, and two sides of the breast is where the Ashwin resides. These are all again the stars. Mercury, Buddha, as Prana and Apana breath. Rahu is the neck, the planets now, and the comets, that is Samasu they are called, all over the body with numerous stars, Taraganaha, as its power. In verse number 8 it's mentioned, this form of Shishumara is the form of the Supreme Lord Vishnu with all the forms of Devatas, Sarva Devatamayam Rupam. And meditating on this form at all three Sandhyas, that is dawn, Madhyana, noon and dusk, one mantra is chanted in this manner, saying Namo Jyoti Lokaya Kala Ayanaya Animisham Pataye Mahapurushayam Dhimahi iti. That is Mahapurushaya Dhimahi, Mahapurushaya Abhidhimahi iti. This is the Upasana mantra. I will repeat again. Namo Jyoti Lokaya Kala Ayanaya Animisham Pataye Mahapurushaya Abhidhimahi iti. This is the mantra chanted, meaning our obeisance unto this resting place of all the luminous worlds, the Lord of Devatas, the Supreme Personality in the form of time, upon whom we meditate. And the verse number 9 talks about the Falasruti, the one who does meditation in this manner, those who offer their reverence to the Lord, Devatas, including planets and stars, during these three Sandhyas, meditating or remembering on this form of Shishumara or Simshumara, their sins are immediately, Ashu means immediately or very soon, annihilated or destroyed. Nashyeta tat kalajam ashu papam. And Bhattacharya also mentions that you also eradicate all my sufferings and my sins also in this manner. So the imagery is given here, that it's a very beautiful imagery brought about, where the entire stars and planets, etc., and Devatas itself are mentioned as the forms of the Lord Vishnu himself, and Lord resembles that attractive Shishumara, a child-like form in the serpent, the head coiled down. This is to be meditated at all the three Sandhyas. In this way, this verse contains this message of the how one gets a benefit of the meditation on the divine form. Bhabe bhabe yata bhakti padayosta bhajayate tata kurshva devesha natastam no yata prabho nama sankirtanam yasya sarva papa pranasanam pranamo dukkha samanaha tam namami harim param. Narayana akila guru Bhagavan Vibhudhair Vedaparagaihi Same Vasadu Jihvagre Brahmarupa Saraswati. Namami Narayana Padamangajam Kuromi Narayana Pujanam Sada Vadami Narayana Namadharmalam Smarami Narayana Tattvam Abhyayam. Apara Karuna Sintum Jnanadam Shantarubinam Sri Chandrasekharendra Guru Namami Mudhanvaham. Dhyanamoolam Gurur Murtihi Puja Moolam Guru Padam Mantramulam Gurur Vakyam Moksha Moolam Guru Kripa. Invoking the grace of Vagdevi, Goddess Saraswati, Guru Ayappan, Mahapiriva and Guru Parambara. We are now on Dasakam 21, verse number 12. Patala Moola Bhuvi Sesha Tanum Bhavantam Lolaika Kundala Viraji Sahasra Shirsham Nilambaram Dritahalam Bhujagankhanabihi Jushtam Bhaje Haragadan Guru Gehanata. Patala Moola Bhuvi Sesha Tanum Bhavantam लोलैककुण्डलविराजिसहस्रशीर्षं नीलाम्बरं धृतहलं भुजगाङ्कनाभिः जुष्टं भजे हरगदान् गुरुगेहनाथ. अन्वय. पातालमूलभुवि लोलैककुण्डलविराजिसहस्रशीर्ष नीलाम्बरं धृतहलं भुजगाङ्गनाभिः जुष्टं शेषतनुं भवन्तं भजे गुरुगेहनाथ. गदान् हर. Meaning, Patala Moola Bhuvi, at the bottom of Patala. Patala is the nether region, lowest of the nether region. Then Lolaika Kundala Viraji Sagasra Sirisha, and Vyutpati will be Lolena Eka Kundalena Virajini Sagasra Sirshani Yasya Saha Tam. It's a compound word. Lolena means that which is shaking. Kundala means Eka Kundala, one earring, Virajini shiny. Sagasra Sirshani, which means 1,000 heads. So one whose 1,000 heads shine with a single earring which is always shaking. Neelambaram, wearing a blue garment. Dhrita halam, holding a plough as weapon. Bhujaganga nabihi justam, worshipped by Naga damsels. Sheshatanum bhavantam, the in the form of Adisesha. Bhajhe, I worship. He Guru Gehanada, O Lord of Guruvayur. Gadan Hara, eradicate my ailments. I worship thee who are in the form of Adisesha, with 1,000 heads, which shine with a single ever-curing earring at the bottom of Patala, who wears a blue garment as a plough as weapon, and is worshipped by Naga damsels. O Lord of Guruvayur, deign or kindly extend your grace to eradicate my ailments. In this verse, addressed to Lord of Guruvayur, Guru Gehanatha is mentioned. So, Lord of Guruvayur is worshipped in the form of Adisesha or Ananta, residing where in the Patala, the netherworld, and having 1,000 heads, but only one swinging ear ornaments, and is wearing a Pitambara, Neelambara, a blue robe, and also wielding a plough, Dhritahalam, surrounded by serpent damsels. Bhujaganganabihi. This is the scenario which is presented here. First, we should understand here the Lord is presented here as is in the form of Adisesha. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, the Lord says, Sarpanam asmi Vasukihi. Amongst the serpents, I am in the form of Vasuki. Then he says, Anantas chasmi Naganam. Amongst the Nagas, I am in the form of Ananta. Sarpa is different from Naga. We should understand here because in English we have only one translation as serpent. Both are in the same species, but Sarpa is poisonous. Sarpa is the Vasuki is the Sarpa, Ananta is the Naga. This Sarpa Vasuki trace in the Devaloka is belongs to Lord Shiva. Is Shiva who wearing it as an ornament. Lord Vishnu reclines on the coils of Adisesha. That is the Ananta. The Ananta has no poison. It is a poisonless snake. It has no poison, whereas Vasuki has a poison. Vasuki is in the Devaloka, and it is mentioned that its breathing itself will destroy people. So it's a source of fright. Such a Vasuki is the Shiva snake, having which has got also a Nagamani or gem. Whereas the Ananta has no poison at all. And there Lord Vishnu reclines on the coils of Adisesha. Swami Dayananda used to say, this is the original spring mattress. Manasa is the sister of Vasuki. These are all side notes which could be kept in mind. Now here the imagery is like this. Prabanja symbolizes the Kundala of the 1,000-headed Ananta. This word Lolena Eka Kundalena has also got another meaning also. The Lola here means could be shaking also is the one meaning. And this Lola also means the nether world. Another meaning. So it also implies Patala. Patala Mulabhuvi is mentioned. Here also the Lola also means Patala also. There is Lola Eka, the chief. And the word Kundalaha also can be interpreted as Kundam Lati iti Kundalaha. Means Kundaha means circle like. So assumes the form of a circle, that is a serpent. So Lolaika Eka Kundalani also implies, means he is the chief of the serpents. That means the Kundala is the serpent mentioned here and residing in the nether region. So it could be interpreted in this way also. Anyway, it is also separately talked about Patala Mulabhuvi. The Prabanja symbolizes the Kundala, therefore. 1,000-headed Ananta is the Parabrahma only. The 1,000 heads can represent the pluralistic aspects of the universe. Nilambara mentioned here, blue garment of Ananta, is the Nila Akasha, or blue sky only. And it's implied that Paramatma is in the form of Ananta. The Naga damsel symbolizes the beauty aspect of the pluralistic universe. Ananta is surrounded and worshipped by Naga damsels. Jushtaha means surrounded. Jushtaha also could be interpreted as worshipped also. The Sanskrit student, Bhujangangana is the word, that is the Naga damsel, and the Chadurthi Bahuvajan means Bhujanganga Nabihi. That is a Bahuvajan, fourth case. So Naga damsels, which also they symbolizes the fact that universe is a superimposition on the Paramatma. That means Ananta is surrounded and worshipped by Naga damsels. These are all part of the universe aspects, and therefore this is a superimposition of the Paramatma. And since the Lord is presented as residing in Patala, nether region, which is the lowest region, reference is made about is holding the plough, Dhrita Halam. So which represents the depth. The plough depth represents the depth which goes up to Patala. Balarama also represents this form of Adisesha, one has to understand. And Balarama is the Swarupa of Lord Vishnu only. It should be understood. Amshavatara of Lord Vishnu only. This verse also could be seen in terms of Patanjali Yoga also in a different perspective. As per Patanjali Yoga, Kundalini Sakti is the Brahma Sakti which pervades the entire creation. It is a support or source for the entire universe. Upwards from Mooladhara to Sahasrara, the lotus petals or Nadi Chakras covers Bhuloka upward to 7 worlds. Bhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Maha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. And downwards, it covers the 7 nether world, which is Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. I am going the same order in which it is present in the Vishwarupa. So the Patala is the lowest. So it could be therefore visualized that Kundalini or Ananta or Brahma Shakti is shining in the Patala Loka with 1,000 heads. The shaking earring represents the ephemeral or changing aspect of Prapancha, which also has the beauty equivalent to that of the divine damsels. Nilambara again represents the limitlessness aspect of Brahma Tattva, and it is all pervasive. Balarama, we said, also is also represents the Ananda aspect, and although he is considered as Amshavatara of Lord Krishna, being together he is also Purna. Hence Balarama is Ishvara only and inseparable from the Lord. Bhattatripad covers this imagery in this manner. Being a poet, he is presenting it in a manner whereby he also brings the Dvaita and Advaita together here. The Advaitic measure also needs to be inferred from this verse. Then Bhattatripad concludes this sloga with his prayer to the Lord of Guruvayur to eradicate all his ailments. The word used here is that Bhaje Hara Gadan. He uses the word Gadan Hara. Tvam Mama Gadan Hara. Now, when you literally interpret, means Gadan means the Bahuvajanam. So, Gadan Tvam Mama Gadan Hara means Tvam, you destroy the Gada, means the mace. The literal meaning does not convey the real intention, implied meaning. Whenever the Vakyartha, literally translated, does not give the real meaning, we use what is called the Lakshanartha. It is in Nyaya, there is a methodology in presenting the facts. it says vilakshitayoho vakyam nigadyate. So whenever the literal meaning does not convey the true meaning in that context, then we go to the lakshanartha. So the expression gadan should be here interpreted as rogan hara. Now this imagery is used likewise because we have seen earlier also that the gada is a weapon used by the Lord for slaying the asura. We saw earlier that Lord used this gada, Kaumodiki gada, to slay Hiranyaksha. Therefore, gadas implies the weapon. That weapon is used for destroying the asura. So the ailments are also, the Bhadabhadri indirectly makes us say that you use this gata to destroy my ailments. So gatan hara means rogan hara, my ailments too, which are also asuric in nature or born of asuric tendencies. Being a poet himself, Bhattacharya always uses this kind of figurative or metaphorical expressions to convey his idea of the truth. In fact, even in the previous one, if you see here, he has used Tvam Mama Narakam Runda. Runda means to stop or to hold or to shut. So Mama Narakam, my Narakam, you destroy or you stop me from going to the hell. But there also we have to use the word Narakam should be understood as suffering. Because hell is a place where you are suffering. And the suffering, or we can say also, is the sin which is the cause of suffering. So, O Lord, you eliminate my suffering, destroy my suffering, or destroy the cause of suffering, that is the sin, which is in the Naraka. Therefore, he uses the word Naraka figuratively. So there you said Tvam Mama Narakam Brunda. Here he said Tvam Mama Gadan Hara, means eradicate my ailments. Gadan means here Rogan Hara. There Naragam means suffering or sin. So whenever we read the Bhattacharya's verse, we have to also always understand the poet behind him and therefore capture the imagery, the simile aspect very clearly, so that the implied meaning is fully understood. So he asks the Lord to eradicating of all the ailments. The ailments, of course, are both as well as kayika as well as manasa. That is physical ailments as well as the mental ailments. Both are to be eradicated. That is the implied in this Mamhara. This form is presented here so that through that form which is inspiring, which is capable of destroying all negative tendencies, as a devotee, as a sadhak, one can also enjoy the worship of the Lord. That is why it is presented in this manner also. And therefore, Bhattacharya says that I look at your form, I worship you also. Like the damsels are worshipping there, I also worship you in that form. And through this worship, you extend your grace to destroy my ailments. So the verse concludes in this manner. With this, we are coming to the concluding verse of this Dasaka 21. We will be moving to Dasaka 22 in the next session. Bhave bhave yatha bhaktihi padayostava jayate तदा कुरुष्व देवेश नातस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपाप प्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनः तं नमामि हरिं परं नारायण अखिल गुरु भगवन् नमस्ते हरि ओम.
गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्द गोविन्द. Chanting the 21st Dashakam of Narayaniyam. Madhyodbhave bhuva ila vritanam nivarshe गौरी प्रधानवनिता जनमात्रभाजी शर्वेण मन्त्रनुतिभिः समुपास्यमानं सङ्कर्षणात्मकमधीश्वर संश्रये त्वां भद्राश्वनामक इलावृतपूर्ववर्षे भद्राश्ववोभिऋषिभिः परिणूयमानम् कल्पान्तगूढनिगमोद्धरणप्रवीणं ध्यायामि देवहय शीर्षतनुं भवन्तं ध्यायामि दक्षिणगते हरिवर्षवर्षे प्रह्लादमुख्यपुरुषैः परिसेव्यमाणम् उत्तुङ्गशान्तधवलाकृतिमेकशुद्धज्ञानप्रदं नरहरिं भगवन् भवन्तं वर्षे प्रतीचि ललितात्मनिकेतुमाले लीलाविशेषललितास्मितशोभनाङ्गम् ललितस्मितशोभनाङ्गं लक्ष्म्या प्रजापतिसुतैश्च निषेव्यमाणं तस्याः प्रियाय धृतकामतनुं भजे त्वाम् रम्येऽप्युदीचि खलु रम्यकनाम्नि वर्षे तद्वर्षनाथमनुवर्यसपर्यमाणं भक्तैकवत्सलममत्सरहृत्सुभान्तं मत्स्याकृतिं भुवननाथ भजे भवन्तम् वर्षं हिरण्मयसमाह्वयमौत्तराहम् आसीनमधृधृतिकर्मटकामटाङ्गं संसेवते पृथृगणप्रवरोर्यमाम्यं त्वां भजामि भगवन् परचिन्मयात्मा किं चोत्तरेषु कुरुषु प्रियया धरण्या संसेवितो महितमन्त्रनुतिप्रभेदैः द्रंष्ट्राघ्रघृष्टघनपृष्ठगरिष्ठवश्मा त्वं पाहि विज्ञनुतयज्ञवराहमूर्ते यां यां दिशं भजति किं पुरुषाख्यवर्षे संसेवितो हनुमता दृढभक्तिभाजा सीताभिरामपरमाद्भुतरूपशाली रामात्मकः परिलसन् परिपाहि विष्णो श्रीनारदेन सह भारतखण्डमुख्यैः त्वं साङ्ख्ययोगनुतिभिः समुपास्यमानः आकल्पकालमिह साधु जनाभिरक्षे नारायणो नरसखः परिपाहि भूमन् प्लाक्षैकरूपमयि शाल्मलइन्दुरूपं द्वीपे भजन्ति कुशनामनिवह्निरूपं क्रौञ्चे भूरूपमथ वायुमयं च शाखे त्वां ब्रह्मरूपमयि पुष्करनाम्नि लोकाः सर्वैर्ध्रुवादिभिरुडु प्रखरैर्गृहैश्च पुच्छादिकेशवभयवेश्वभिकल्प्यमानैः त्वं शिंशुमारवपुषा महितामुपास्यः सन्ध्यासुरुन्धिनरकं मम सिन्धुषाय पातालमूलभुवि शेषतनुं भवन्तं लोलैककुण्डलविराजिसहस्रशीर्षं नीलाम्बरं धृतहलं भुजगाङ्घनाभिः दुष्टं भजे हरिगतान् गुरुगेहनाथ श्रीहरे नमः गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्द गोविन्द।